Hello, babies.
Wes, why are you booing me? I'm right.
I was not booing Leo, everyone.
Wes is silencing me. Wes is censoring me.
I was silencing them with the mute button in OBS.
Why?
I was listening. I was listening to them. Just not allowing anyone else to temporarily.
Extremely exclusive Patreon tier.
Yeah.
Just Wes. Francis says, did I miss anything last week? And Juliet says, some crunching? Some drinks?
Those things did happen. Juliet says also there was a bit last week that involved two participles. Is that what that says?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that I genuinely can't recall.
I think you're thinking of our corporate sponsor, Zeno's Paradox. My best. That's my single best joke to date. Man, sometimes you gotta crack yourself up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do we have any berry cast? Oh, I have a cake cast.
Oh, from the tasting?
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
Would you like to know what our cake flavors are going to be?
Oh my god, wait, can I guess from what I remember the flavors being? Was it one of the ones that you told me about?
Well,
on offer.
Yes.
Ish. With maybe modifications.
It's a 3-tier cake.
With 3 different flavors?
Yes.
Oh.
Because then they just unstack it, to cut and serve. So the whole thing will have vanilla buttercream frosting on the outside, but each tier of the cake has four thin layers of cake and 3 layers of, filling. So
wait, per tier? So that's like 12 layers of cake?
Yes.
That's a lot of layers.
Yes. So like if a flavor that we tasted was like, blank cake with X filling and Y frosting, it will be like the way that translates is like, 2 layers of X filling and 1 layer of Y filling, or whatever, we've decided.
Yeah. That's
But
just... you guys are, like, rich in cake.
We are rich in cake. We had... So, there was the option of, like, 2 tiers, which is about exactly 50 servings, which is the number of people we are anticipating. Or 3 tiers, which is like 72 servings. I think that's right. And I liked the idea of having leftover cake. It freezes well, also.
Yeah.
Of having leftover cake, and I did not want to have to narrow down our flavor choices to just 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because it was too hard to choose, so I went.
Because they were all good.
For. Yeah, I mean, we tasted 5 different combinations, and then chose 3.
Okay. So I know one was like a vanilla cake base with some like fruit flavor.
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt a second. Juliet said, it was chewing and sweating. That's the pair of
Ah,
participles.
yeah.
Yeah, there was chewing and sweating.
There
I'm
was
still
both.
listening, but I'm gonna get up to turn my fan on. Okay. Um, Cake flavors.
Cake flavors. Um, my first there was a mega chocolate one.
Yes.
There was a champagne flavored cake
Yes.
with a fruit
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe all I remember. Actually, because I remember you telling me the flavors and being like, "Man, those all sound good," and I was like, "Surely I'll remember them all because they all sounded so good."
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you the summary of the 5 again, so
Yeah.
everyone knows, and then we can talk about what we actually chose. So we had a chocolate cake with hazelnut buttercream, technically extra soft hazelnut buttercream as the filling, with espresso buttercream on top.
That's right. That's
Again, the samples are like mini cupcakes, so the on top will just be, another layer of filling. But yes, so that was the chocolate one. There was vanilla ginger cake with lemon buttercream filling and passion fruit buttercream frosting. There was champagne cake with raspberry jam filling and strawberry buttercream. There was red velvet cake with white chocolate ganache and tart cherry buttercream. That buttercream was beautiful because it has like actual bits of cherry visible, so it's like the buttercream itself is kind of a pale pink, but then it has all these like it's kind of like heathered with cherries. And there was lavender cake with marionberry jam and lemon cream cheese frosting.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I suspect that you have selected
Mm-hmm.
the chocolate with the hazelnut and the espresso,
Mm-hmm.
the lavender cake,
Mm-hmm.
and probably the tart cherry cake.
Okay, chocolate, correct. Lavender, correct. The third one is the champagne with raspberry jam and strawberry buttercream.
Oh, I was torn because I thought the champagne, but the way that you described the cherries as headering it, I was like, Wes is in love with Francis, but
Yeah.
also with this cake.
I did enjoy the tart cherry buttercream, but the raspberry jam filling was so good. And I think like having a chocolate flavor makes sense, and then like the lavender marionberry lemon cream cheese is the, I don't know, the like the weird, the unique flavor,
Yeah.
that like is exciting, and not everyone is gonna love lavender. And so we felt like having a more traditional, you know, fruity alternative to chocolate made sense, and it was just really delicious. It was actually, that was Francis's favorite of everything we tasted, was that.
Oh.
Yeah. We
Man,
did.
okay, well, I'm excited to eat all that cake.
Yeah, we did. We, tried the champagne cake with some raspberry jam with a little bit of the tart cherry buttercream instead of the strawberry buttercream, but the raspberry jam got overshadowed a little bit. Like, neither of them was shining through anymore, where the strawberry buttercream got out of the way a little bit better with the raspberry jam.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to trying every single flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing you ordered enough cake for me to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, and you're staying with us while you're in town. So, like, we will be taking cake home. And
oh my god.
You can have breakfast cake. You can, whatever you want to do.
Hell yeah. We just had breakfast cake with the cake that I posted in Baby Tree, I think 2 weeks ago.
Did you just say Baby Tree?
I did, because I was looking at Roottreemania on this. The tree, the tree where the babies grow from. Where the babies come from,
storks.
Obviously.
Well, okay, it is storks, but they take the babies from the baby tree and then deliver them. Because otherwise, where are those storks getting the babies?
You don't want to know what those storks get up to, okay?
Cake you posted.
Oh, the orange cake, the whole orange cake.
Oh,
which
yes.
We ate exclusively as a breakfast cake, and oh my god, I love having a breakfast cake available for breakfast only.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Man, I miss when I lived with my parents. My mom would make pie like every week, every couple weeks.
Wow.
And then there was breakfast pie.
That's thrilling. I do remember your mom's pie.
Yeah.
Like the berry one.
Yeah, remember the blackberry car pie?
I do remember that pie.
Yeah.
Emma says, haha, get plucked from the baby tree, fucko.
Wow. Okay, shall we jump into the game?
Yeah, totally. Are you going to be thinking so much better because of being in a climate-controlled environment during the playing of the game this time?
Yes, except that I don't have any Adderall, so maybe no.
Oh no.
But we'll see. Okay. Guess what I did before calling you? It is related to streaming.
I genuinely have no fucking idea. What do you do with your time?
No idea. I updated my hotkeys so
Oh.
that I can type hyphens without
Wow.
covering
You
up
love to
the
type a
game
hyphen.
screen. I do love to type a hyphen.
Yeah, that's such a sensical and guessable thing to have done. And yet I was so stymied.
It's okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Where did we leave off?
Notes. I think that we... Okay, search Antonelli's and Elizabeth Cravensworth stuff is what it says. I was remembering discovering a new periodical, but did we already...
I don't think we did. I think, are you remembering when we were just guessing newspaper names?
No. I'm not. There was something, I swear.
Should we look at our... Would it be in our notes?
Well, hold on.
Emma says pie is in many ways the perfect breakfast pastry.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but I'm also like the joy of a breakfast pastry, like be it pie or cake or what have you, is so intrinsically tied to me to having it with black coffee and the contrast between sweet thing and bitter coffee.
Uh-huh.
Which is not your experience of the thing.
No. Maybe I'm just remembering when we discovered the Portland Telegraph, but I sure thought that there was a mention of a periodical. I guess not. Okay. Well, we can search Antonelli's and see what we can dig up about that. I think we should also look up work time temp to see if there's anything about that. Because Roottree started using a temp agency in 1982 instead of hiring secretaries.
Hiring internally.
Yeah. Okay. As far as you can tell, there's no connection between work time temp and anyone related to your search. Okay. There are a large number of Antonelli's restaurants, not because it's a chain, just because it seems to be a common name for Italian restaurants You may need to use a more local resource if you're looking for one specific one. Butler County Times, here we come.
ECT.
Antonelli's is an Italian restaurant, and it has been in the Butler County Times twice. The most recent time was when it closed in 1992. The owner, Rochelle Zimmer, sold the land the building was on, and at the time of the article, she was unsure if the restaurant would move to a new location or if she would retire. Many years before that, there's a puff piece from Valentine's Day 1978 that asked recently married residents of Butler County how they met. Christine Garland responded. She and her husband Steve, who was a chef at Antonelli's, met years ago when she delivered produce from her mother's farm. Steve used to work extra hours just to be there during her deliveries. Although they grew apart when the restaurant switched suppliers, they reconnected by chance at one of Guy Hudson's parties, and eloped at the end of last year. Now she has a bun in the oven, and they're both working as much as they can. She's a secretary, but went back to delivering produce on the weekends, trying to save up money to move to Boston and open their own restaurant.
Okay.
So,
Christine, is the farm here the Maple Farm?
no. She is just... She's the daughter of an independent farmer. She met Steve delivering produce to Antonelli's. Then they grew apart. In the meantime, she started working for Guy Hudson. And then they ran into each other at that party that there's a story about.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Also, actually, it might be the same farm. It does say one of Sam's farm's supervisors was named Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But this says from her mother's farm. So that makes me think it was... I think it's like her mother had a farm, and eventually her mother became, or at the same time became, a supervisor on Sam's farm. Either way, I don't think that part is important. It's this story. Yeah. So we're looking at actually this. Christine Farrow.
Christine Cartland. Okay. Juliet said, surely Antonelli is the plural. We're looking for a singular, specific Antonello.
Yeah, actually, I did some reading recently on the various Italian named vegetables, like broccoli and zucchini, because I was like, wait a second, I is the plural form, so is it broccolo and zucchino? The short answer is essentially yes.
But is that an actual usage in Italian? It's broccolo and zucchino.
I cannot remember. I think there were some. I don't know. There were various revelations in that rabbit hole, and I don't remember them now. But I believe so. I believe that a singular zucchini is a zucchino. Okay, so it is likely this one because it's someone who got married, ruling out this person. We don't know for sure that yeah, we don't know for sure that they didn't get divorced later. Francis says, how do you define a singular broccolo? A floret? One tiny bead? No, I think it's still a head of broccolo.
Broccoli.
Broccoli, broccoli. My mom used to sing that.
Broccoli.
No.
Broccolo. Broccoloo? Broccoli as an adjective, ly.
Broccoli, resembling broccoli. The article said they were saving up to start their own restaurant. But in the meantime, she was still working as a secretary and also doing farm deliveries again. So I don't know what her occupation should be listed as. I guess I'm gonna put her in there as secretary for now.
Yeah, until we know otherwise.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Man, how are we gonna find a picture of her? Or of any of these people?
I feel like there should be like about the section on the restaurant website.
Yeah. Okay. feel like we're gonna have to dig back into some of this stuff
Yeah.
from the first game at some point. I just don't. I don't know where to start. So this is something like we never found Brian Jones' company's website. I don't think. And I am curious about that. Yeah, because that's about the campaign website. I don't know how to find.
What does he do? What's his profession?
I don't remember. Local business owner.
Business owner of what, though?
November Root Tree being on the website somehow makes me think that, I don't know, it's like a talent agency.
Yeah.
But it's, I really don't know. Jones Graphic and Print.
Did we know that? Wait, hold on. Did we actually know that?
Or
Didn't
search
we
for
knew
us
that
online. I designed the website myself. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we would have been stupid not to search Brian Jones in the BCT, but I don't remember.
I remember someone having a print shop because we looked up the stuff that they did. I'm pretty sure that we knew this. Yeah, Emma says, fairly certain you found this.
Oh.
Which does sound familiar to me.
Yeah. Holiday light post banners.
Yeah, we definitely looked that up. That's in our our spider
But
history.
Did we?
I'm not sure that we looked that up.
Maybe
Did we look up Children of Eden?
Maybe we did get confirmation of November's occupation. It's just that we had already correctly guessed it. That's not what I meant to do.
I don't know that we did. I think that we surmised based on them saying that the younger generation were all like singers and dancers and stuff. And we're like, well, no one's been a dancer, right?
Right. Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying, is that we had already put it in as dancer and gotten it confirmed, but then came across the information eventually.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I do remember this. Okay, yeah.
Oh, right. And then it was Butler Summer Theater. That's what I want. Okay. November Studios.
Oh,
listed
yes.
Under choreography.
Okay. Man, incredible our capacity to learn things and then relearn them again.
Uh-huh.
This changes everything.
For people who are not reading the screen, it says you visit the November Studios website for old time's sake. And what's this? The website now lists the hours of November Studios. They open at 1 p.m. on most weekdays but are closed on Wednesdays. This changes everything. You lament that this incredibly vital information wasn't available months ago when it truly mattered. Okay. Well, we tried.
We tried.
Is there... Yeah, Roottreemania Motors is the one.
That's
that the
other...
miracle. Yeah.
Yeah. Eli.
Yes, Eli M. Do you think it's M for miracle? Is it Eli Miracle?
Oh shit! It's probably M for miracle. We never thought about that.
Either that or it's M for motors or mechanic.
Nominatively determined to be a mechanic.
Yeah. I just... No, not highlight. Spider search. Oh my god. Okay. Delete. Delete. Close. Okay. 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 Well, just, want to make sure we're covering all of the things. Okay. What do we want to come back to? Search. Searched.
Do we do work time temp now?
I already searched that.
Wait, today? What did we learn? Where was I?
There was no connection to any of the people. I can double check it in Butler County Times, but yeah, because yeah, that's what it said. Okay. We have not found anything more about these legal troubles, have we?
I don't think so.
that would work, but okay. Just checking. There's nothing more on that front.
We tried by her maiden name as well. Pharaoh. Yeah.
Okay. We still... We need to figure out Crocodile's daughter's name somehow.
Yeah.
And I have... no idea how. Did we look this
Review up?
up?
I don't know that we did.
Well, not the review, because this is essentially the review. Like, but did we look up the album itself?
Stevie Whitlock.
Oh. Okay. We have not read this. Root of All
No.
Evil is 5P's debut album. According to various sources, the album is mostly material that 5P's recorded for his mixtapes before he became notable, but re-recorded with lyrical differences and professional production. All Your Problems was the first and only single released. After dropping the single, 5P's announced he'd retained the infamous celebrity lawyer Stevie Whitlock to sue his family. To date, it doesn't seem like he's followed through. At first, the single didn't make much of a splash, but Whitlock, known for publicity stunts, paid thousands of teenagers a few dollars an hour to call and request the video on MTV, which increased its profile. MTV eventually caught on and banned the video altogether, which in turn received national news coverage and made the song even more popular. Okay.
Oh.
This track is the only new song on the album. The subject matter of the song is the hypocrisy of those that claim money is evil. He points out that the only people who think money is evil are those that have it, those that can afford not to be greedy. In the song, 5Ps triumphantly talks about taking the root tree's wealth due to it being his birthright and giving it to those who need it most. You find a copy of the a copy of the song on a suspicious-looking website and download it for your records. We're going to come back to that in a second. I'm going to put this in gossip. Stevie Whitlock is a lawyer with a history of publicity stunts and grandstanding. Still, she's managed to rack up quite a few legal victories for C-list celebrities and athletes. She became famous in the mid-1980s after successfully suing a multinational sandwich company whose 12-inch subs were actually an average of 11.5 inches long. Stevie argued that since the company sold 1 billion sandwiches per year, that was enough missing sandwich to make a sub long enough to span from New York to Los Angeles. The jury awarded her a paltry $5,000, but the news coverage of her crusade turned out to be priceless. Unfortunately, none of this seems related to the root trees. Well, damn. Okay. This is the only single from 5P's album Root of All Evil. It received some airplay but didn't make a big splash critically or commercially. Still, it's kind of catchy. Okay. Do you want to read these lyrics and then listen?
Nope, other way around, please.
To listen while we read them?
Yeah.
Attention, root trees. This is 5Ps coming at you from the real world. You know, the place you ain't ever lived in.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Root of all your
Man,
problems.
y'all are hypocrites, sitting back in your massive estates, built from the cash that your ancestors gave you, acting like you somehow deserve it, based on your family's creations. Yo, but looky here, sonny, don't you come for our money, or you might burn bright in hellfire someday, like that Madsen chick and her two dads. My pappy's cleansing trust should keep you away. Yo, it's disturbing, catching a sermon from a geezer who's never known hurt, but blurts out these claims that somehow we're sinners, cause we didn't earn it. When all of your worth it came free with your name, you expect me to treat your lectures on greed as some expert creed from he without blame. How about instead, I turn my other cheeks and spread them. When you give me a kiss, you'll know just where to aim.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons with a needle. So once more with passion, tell this poor tragic orphan how your mansions and Porsches are actually horrible. How I'm better off penniless, grasping for morsels. How wanting my share, that's actually extortion. With your candy ass name, synonymous with sweets. Oh, you wanna call me classless? I'm gangster from Portland, but I play that game. I came up on the streets, the only streets you reppin' are Park Place and Boardwalk. Hypocrisy, monopoly is toppling. When I knock, have G's top off my pockets, please. Cause the same God that got to steal my mom from me is what he wants, right? For you to live in poverty. And if you're suddenly not eager to unhand that fortune, that's unfortunate. I guess I'm gonna have to take my portion, and I'll do it all legally. Class action, courtroom, decorum. I'm way past your fancy ass dormant.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Bring the choir in.
You say money is the root
pursuits of real people. You silver spoon thieves, you're the world's purest treacle. While real world folks burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon thieves, you're the world's purest treacle.
Okay.
I really, really love rhyming treacle with both people and needle.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Lily says, bring the choir in.
Bring the choir in. Okay, anything here that so Samantha Matson and EC and John Miller are referenced here. And a lot of this seems directed at
Miracle.
Miracle in particular. I liked your candy ass name.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nothing new for us to search as far as I can tell.
No.
Okay. Did we actually search anything about Anonymom?
I don't
know,
remember.
like, her daughter turned out not to be a Roottreemania according to the DNA test.
But let's do it really fast.
Yeah, I don't know what we're missing.
Do you want to try your spider search button just for fun? No.
No, I use it sometimes. But I'm so used to clicking highlight that half the time I click highlight and then I'm frustrated.
Oh. We should look up the News Time article.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I am gonna read this because I think, yeah. Okay, Anonymon was the second high-profile case after Felix Fellows of a potential new root tree being added to the Clancid Trust. Instead of claiming herself a root tree, however, she claimed she'd slept with Guy Hudson and that her daughter was a root tree. The accusation came during the height of Roottreemania and began with a brief TV interview. She appeared in the shadows with a disguised voice and promoted an article about herself in Newstime. In the TV interview and the article, she referred to her daughter as Jane Doe Roottree. The name Anonymon was not self-inflicted. It seemed to spring up organically because nobody knew how else to refer to her. The day after the Newstime article, Sam Matson publicly supported Anonymon due to some parts of the story she found particularly credible. With the momentum from Sam's endorsement, Anonymon went on a media blitz. Ultimately, this backfired. As more details came out, people became skeptical of her story due to the extreme similarity to 5P's. Her accusation even included many of the same details as his mother's story. This included her job, secretary, and the time period, late 70s. After fumbling the 5P's story so publicly, the root trees were more prepared to handle all Clancid Trust-related cases. Within a week, a DNA test proved that Anonymon's daughter could not be related to the root trees. This was announced at a joint press conference with lawyers representing both Anonymon and the root trees. Each party ensured their respective clients provided accurate samples. Immediately after the negative results were released, many of those who had already been skeptical felt vindicated. Others, who had built up hope that history could repeat itself after 5P's, felt duped. Many people suspected the whole affair had been a hoax to gain fame and money. Many demanded that Anonymon be held accountable, and some people even began to attempt to track down her true identity. The Root Tree Company felt pressured to put out a second statement to try to curb some of the backlash, even going so far as to say, "Though it was scientifically proven that Jane Doe Root Tree is not a root tree, this doesn't mean that her mother and Guy Hudson were not involved in an affair. She had every right to make her claim, as it has been verified that her stories about Guy Hudson were not exaggerations. Please leave their family alone." Many people claim this high-profile anticlimax and public backlash was the beginning of the end for Roottreemania, since much of the fun was the shared fascination about secret root trees. Others think that, like any fad, it just ran its course naturally. Regardless, this was the final notable event related to the release of 6 pieces, and things soon went back to normal. Jane Doe Root Tree has already been eliminated as a potential new root tree by the company's lawyers, who are the ones verifying your work. Anonymon's affair does not appear on your updated tree. We should look up that Newstime article, though.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Okay. It was determined through a DNA test that daughter was not a root tree. Came before this article came before all that, right around the time of her first TV interview.
Here we go.
The anonymous woman claimed to have had an affair with Guy Hudson while she was working as his secretary. She and another woman were hired at the same time during a transition period while many of the secretaries that had worked under Zach Morton were already gone. She says that she and the other woman were both underqualified as neither had typewriter experience. According to other staff members interviewed, Guy had his own requirements for hiring women. Guy Hudson liked to throw lavish parties, and the longer he was president, the more excuses he found. The anonymous woman posits that these parties mostly seemed to be an excuse to have after parties at Guy's home, featuring much more alcohol and other substances. She claims she slept with him at one of these after parties. She confronted Guy when she found out she was pregnant. Guy didn't seem fazed, and they came to an arrangement. He paid her a significant amount of hush money on a recurring basis under the table. She used it to move away and start a new life with her daughter. When Guy died, the money stopped coming, and she assumed things had run their course. She went back to work at the department store and hoped that nobody would ever look too closely at how she paid for her house. She told everyone that her daughter's father walked out one day and never came back. She claimed that after seeing the fantastic article in Newstime, she realized that she wasn't the only one this happened to. While she never worked at the Roottree Company at the same time as 5P's mother, Joanna, their stories seemed eerily similar, and she knew Felix was telling the truth right away. The article presented no tangible evidence of the anonymous woman's time at Roottree, and all of the payments were allegedly made in cash.
Was that was that the bottom? Was there not more scroll?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, however, using details that she provided to Newstime, their reporters were able to reach out to the other woman hired at the same time, who also remained anonymous. They successfully fact-checked the timeline of both women and confirmed the existence of the infamous after-parties. 5P's case was strengthened, and this new story was subsequently published. Yeah, so that's what I was curious about, was the other
woman.
So
they were both hired
at the
together
same time.
after a bunch of
Secretaries that had worked under Zach Morton were already gone. So let's look at... Okay. Okay, so Zach Morton retired in 1977, 1978. Guy took over. Beatrice Watts and Corinne Schwartz, Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing. I think it's more likely to be those two because
Juliet and Doris don't leave until...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just highlight all of that though, so that
For years.
it's... Well, yeah, actually, I can do that. Just in case we need to come back to those other names, is what I was thinking. But yeah. What?
Was it not Ewing?
Oh, yeah, why did I think it was Schwartz? Oh, because of Corinne Schwartz. Valerie Ewing. Okay, thank you. We're gonna just... run through our options just in case.
Being blast. Juliet says, heard Juliet and Doris don't leave until, and thought, wait, what am I endorsing? And Emma says, Guy Hudson's incredible leadership, sad face.
Damn.
Oh.
Okay. Corinne Schwartz comes up in a few articles from local news stations in Pennsylvania. Some of the people attempting to track down Anonymom were harassing her. She recently had to take a leave of absence because people showed up at the car dealership where she works. She is begging people to stop the accusations so that she can get back to a normal life. In every article you find, the journalists involved have independently verified that she is not Anonymom.
Yeah, well, we know Anonymom works at a department store. Should we just look for a department store maybe in the BCT? We might
I don't know
encounter
if
an
it
advertisement.
is gonna work that way.
Yeah.
But we can try. I was also
Just because that's like the one lead that we have about her is she says, I went back to working in the department store.
Yeah, I mean, I'm less concerned about finding out who Anonymom is because
Right, because she's
her
not
daughter
on
isn't a
our
root
tree. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like seeing if it leads us to anything else. I spelled Corinne wrong. This is a weird way to spell Corinne. Corrine. After she was named in a national tabloid, people have come to her place of work and accused her. Article explains that it's impossible for her to be Anonymom because her only child is still in middle school. Unless her son's gestation period was approximately 10 years, it doesn't appear like Corinne could have been involved in any of the potential affairs on your tree. Okay. Okay. Did we... That's gonna come up with that.
Ah. Sued by Steve Garland.
Interesting. Okay, Rochelle and her husband. So Rochelle Zimmer was the owner of Antonelli's. Rochelle and her husband Mark Zimmer have a few mentions in the Butler County Times. Both were local business owners. Rochelle owned Antonelli's, an Italian restaurant, and Mark owned a local bookstore called bookmarks, both closed in 1992. Mark was also mentioned once in the Butler County Times when he was sued by Steve Garland. Which
Let's
is
highlight that middle graph
interesting.
before we leave. Before.
I think this is gonna come up with the same thing, but yeah, okay.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh. Kitchen Tales was a story-based recipe book credited to Mark Zimmer that had some success after it was featured on a morning talk show. The book released before the internet was widespread, so mentions are rare. One book collector states that the publishers were unprepared for the demand and that there was no second printing, so it's unusual to find a copy in the wild. You find an alternative medicine website which focuses on cooking with natural ingredients. It mentions that one of Kitchen Tales' recipes uses salt water. The owner of the site has included a scan of that recipe, which was added to your evidence. She says, if you switch out the salt water in the recipe for a mix of 2/3 spring water and 1/3 filtered seawater, it tastes great. Okay.
do you want to see if Kitchen Tales is in the public library?
Yes, I do. I have no idea where this is leading us, but
Nope. Garnishing the
Ooh.
Truth.
re-released as Garnishing the Truth.
Okay.
Nothing relevant to your investigation was found in the public
Try
library.
the author as Steve Garland.
Oh. Look at
Oh.
that. The introduction of this book is a series of acknowledgments from Steve. The first is, Christine, thank you for everything. Your support means the world to me. You are the apple of my pie. The second is to James and Robert, the names of their sons, presumably. You're becoming amazing men and incredible chefs. I guess I'm a good teacher. The final is to Mark Zimmer. You proved my storytelling approach to recipes could be popular. Without you, this book couldn't exist.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So, Steve
some-
Garland sued. Wait. Well, yeah, I can finish typing it here and then I'll move it to gossip. Sued Mark Zimmer for plagiarizing his storytelling recipe book. And later published it under his own name. And the title, Garnishing the Truth. Except that there, take it out of there. Okay. So James and Robert.
It looks like
Yeah, I just didn't click it. That does make me think that she ended up, that they did, open a restaurant. And chef is the closest thing I can come to that.
possible. Let's finish the listing on the periodical site because there's more.
Yes. Okay. Oh, there's also a foreword by Mark Zimmer. I first met Steve in 1978 when he taught a cooking class. The next time I saw him was over a decade later, when he was suing me for stealing his recipes. Yes, really. So you might wonder what I'm doing in this introduction. Well, it turns out that Steve and I had more in common than we thought. Instead of settling in court, we settled it at McCarran's brew house over a game of darts. They said they'd give us the first drink of the night free for an entire year for mentioning them. By the end of the game, he and I agreed we'd both rather make a ton of money together than spend a ton of money on lawyers. It's pretty rare to meet your best friend so late in life, but when I decided to retire, I moved to Boston just so we could hang out. So, if you're browsing this book in a bookstore, please, please buy our book. We need more money for when the free beer runs out, and the bookstore could probably use the sale.
All right. Hell yeah.
Okay. Fascinating.
Real call an ambulance, but not for me on scrolling down on this page.
Wait, what?
Well, from where we left off, the finalist mark, you proved my storytelling approach to recipes could be
yes.
popular. Without you, this book couldn't exist. And
Uh-huh.
then...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea if that's gonna take us somewhere, but
And then
let's...
they're both in Boston.
Is there anything else here that I should save?
I don't think so.
Okay. McCarran's Brewhouse is a pub in Boston, and they have a website. Apparently, the bar has been around a long time. On the site, there's a list of famous people who have had a drink there, including former president of the United States, not of the Roottreemania Company, Kennedy. There's also a few listings of television shows and books that have mentioned McCarran's, as well as how they came up. One of them is Garnishing the Truth, which the site has this to say about. Local and regular Stevie G wrote a book about food. We prefer cocktails, but he gave us a shout out, and we ain't gonna say no to free press. So go grab a bite at his kid's joint, Fry Die, and then swing by to meet him for a drink.
I die. Fry or die.
Fry Die is a fairly popular restaurant in Boston. They don't have a website, but many locals seem to mention them in various places. One more in-depth review explains that it's not a full restaurant, just a front door and a very small interior with a window. Unusually, the restaurant only serves vegetables, but a lot of reviews say that in spite of that, it's delicious. You also find a short story about it listed on a website called My Boston Homepage. Whoever runs the page seems to just link to random sites related to Boston, tell personal anecdotes related to Boston, and give their relatively short opinions on things in Boston. It's very unorganized. It has this to say about Fry Die. Wicked overrated. I saw it in Chef's Signature, so I went, and there was a huge line, and they didn't have a single meat dish. What's even the point?
Mm-hmm.
Anything
No,
else
just
you want me to...
just chef signature, where I'm sure there will be.
There we
yeah.
go. New periodical added.
No E on the first fry.
I don't know why I thought there was. Chef Signature covered Fried Eye less than a year ago, right around the time you were doing your initial investigation. Each article in Chef Signature tends to focus on a restaurant, and like the magazine's name implies, each restaurant lists the one main dish that the head chef is known for. Fried Eye's signature is the samosa cone.
That sounds so
Cover
good.
and main article has been added to your evidence. There's also, yeah, okay. There they are.
This
Can
man
a-
on the right, his head does not look right for his body. Like something about the proportion or the lighting is
yeah.
weird.
Yeah. I think the proportions of his torso in general, like torso and arms, are weird in some hard to pinpoint way. And then, yeah, his head kind of looks too small for his
Yeah.
shoulders.
It does. It sure does.
Sitting down with the Garlands, the new boys in Boston.
The new boys in Boston.
Chef Signature, a nationally published magazine targeted towards fans of unusual restaurants, featured James and Robert Garland on the cover of their November 1998 issue. According to the article, the two brothers own a small walk-up window in Boston called Fried Eye, a play on the tie-dye shirts that the servers wear, that exclusively serves vegetarian dishes. Okay. Why do they have servers if they're just a walk-up window and they're not wearing tie-dye shirts?
Great question, Wes.
Most of the offerings are heavily inspired by the powerful spices found in Thai and Indian food. Their signature dish is the samosa cone, which from a distance somewhat resembles a traditional ice cream, complete with a waffle pattern. Instead, it contains fried potatoes, pureed peas, carrots, and a special ginger-based sauce. Robert, who is 3 years younger than James, jokes that although the age difference has left him delegated to wear the sous chef jacket his whole life, so he's the younger one, he doesn't mind. As a result, James answers most of the interviewer's questions. James credits his love for food and his culinary skills to their upbringing. Most kids hate vegetables growing up, but they don't have parents like we did. My father was a chef, and my mother grew up on a farm that supplied his restaurant. That's how they met. I don't have any memories from the farm or anything like that, since we moved here before I could even talk, but they told me stories. My dad's a great storyteller. He even wrote a book that partially helped fund Fried Eye. When we moved, they were looking to open their own restaurant together. Unfortunately, they never got it off the ground. Okay, go back to work as a secretary. So we need to change that. His line cook gig ended up being less temporary than he hoped, and she had to go back to work as a secretary even after Robert was born. Before we were old enough to go to school, we spent our days with my aunt. In the diner where he worked, my dad had no room for experimenting, so he'd exercise his skills at home on his days off. We'd always go shopping and cook as a family on those days, and even though we were hyper kids running around and causing a ruckus, those were some of our family's favorite memories since we were all together. Mom always had the eye for the best vegetables for him to work with, and she did her best to pass that on to us. According to the article, their parents, who are now retired, visit Friday often. They even have a signature dessert, the Sistine apple. Apple pie has always been my mom's favorite, and my dad always had this stupid line he used to make her laugh. Stupid line he
You're the apple of
used
my pie.
to make her laugh
Yeah.
involving apple pie. Most people realize it's a Sistine Chapel pun and assume that's all there is to it, but it's actually secretly named after them, sort of. Okay. So, Christine was a secretary before she retired. They're chefs. And
James is the Uncanny Valley
James.
head one.
oh ho
Oh.
ho ho ho, look at that. Oh,
Sam reached out to me finally. I think I have you to thank for that one. My family's in a bit of a rough patch. Even though the candy is selling better than ever, everyone is fighting over the trust. The majority of us want to dissolve it. On paper, it seems like the right decision. The arguments about what to do next are endless and heated. More than a few root trees are worried about losing their wealth. I don't think we deserve it more than anyone else. I love my family, my wife, my daughters, even my son, who I hardly ever get to see. I want to keep them safe and secure, but I didn't do anything to deserve this fortune. Hell, I probably deserve it less than most. It took me way too long to get my life together. Okay, enough about me. Here's the deal. I can't stop the majority from voting one way or another. If you keep passing along potential root trees, I'll keep adding them to the list. On the other hand, there's been some leaps forward in genetics. It may sound like science fiction, but we can actually determine who's in the family just by testing their DNA. What you've done so far has been very useful. Just keep filling out the tree and we'll prepare for the tests.
okay. Okay, still no photo of Christine.
No.
Okay. Susan Ford.
Oh,
not
Emily made it.
confirmed
Hi, Emily.
Because we don't have a picture yet, but we have confirmed her children and husband, so we know that is her that
Yeah.
belongs there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Emily says, or sorry, Emma says to Emily, well, look who finally came down from the baby tree.
Damn. Oh, I come bearing chicken tendies. I want some chicken tendies.
And then, oh, right. Ooh. Should we read the story?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Kitchen Tales, blah, 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 blah. You found a scan of one story on a website. It demonstrates how to bake the plated loaf. For years, two bakers flora, spelled flower.
Can I would love to hear every vowel in there.
Flora.
There we go. Thank you.
And Yates flirted. They grew their friendship, compared recipes, and combined knowledge. She loved his salt and pepper beard. He adored her rosemary cheeks. They thought sweetly about one another. But he was one day whisked away, conscripted to bake the army's bread. By the oil of the lamp, Flaura's tears began to salt her bread. The recipe asks the reader to combine flour, yeast, sugar, olive oil, and rosemary. Combine the salt and water together, and add to the mixture and whisk until the dough begins to form.
2 things. 1, boy, that really salts my bread. And 2, what does rosemary cheeks mean?
They're rosy.
I guess.
I had the same thought. It is, like, it sort of works if you don't think about it because the word rose is in there.
Yeah.
But if you do think about it, it's, yeah. A little bit, this passage actually makes me think of, like, some of the stuff in Song of Songs, in the Old Testament, where it says stuff like your temples are like 2 halves of a pomegranate, and I'm like, bulging red, a bulging red forehead,
Yeah.
I've never looked into like the nuances of translation on that, and like how accurate temple is as a translation, but yeah, or like your hair is like a herd of goats
Well, that one's obvious.
going up, yeah, something, I don't remember details. Okay. It was 10 to 12 years later that they met again, seemingly by fate. Flaura's unique dough had earned her a position as the king's personal baker. Yates had found success as well. He baked for the kingdom's 45 diplomats. One day, they returned from the Dutch Isles with a gift, 450 unbaked loaves, and were sent to the palace bakery to teach a method that required no kneading. Allow the dough to proof for 10 to 12 hours, then spread it out and let sit for over 45 minutes on a floured baking sheet with no kneading. Next, prepare a Dutch oven preheated to 450 degrees. Upon seeing Yates, Flaura was both delighted and distraught. She felt as if she was torn in two. She had not been made aware of the gift, and had already prepared buns for the palace ovens. She wished to greet Yates warmly, but was struck by fears that he'd be unable to bake with her, that she'd face retribution for being unprepared. She cried to Yates, adding more salt to her dough. Cut the dough into 2 equal pieces and lightly sprinkle salt across the top of only one of them. Yates eased her pain. He insisted she had no obligation to prepare for a return she thought impossible, but he shared her fear of retribution. He knew if they did not solve her predicament, they'd miss their final chance to bake together. In the end, instead of wallowing in the present, they worked together to shape the future. They twisted and entwined their doughs and baked them as one. Thus was born the plated loaf. Word quickly spread of this new delight. The king's decree on royal parchment was that it would be considered a delicacy. Roll and twist the pieces to entwine them, then take the twist and wrap around the inside of the Dutch oven, atop parchment, from outside inward to make a spiral. That is not the shape that this is. Bankrolled by the king, Flora and Yates spent their days baking together. They traveled for 45 years, then settled down for 15 more. Their souls were golden, with no regrets. Lastly, bake for 45 minutes, remove lid, and observe until crust is golden brown, which could take up to 15 minutes.
Who is this about?
It's about them. It's about them. It's about them meeting again at that party. And she had already where's the line? Had already prepared buns for the palace
palace ovens, yeah.
She already had a bun in the oven. And she was glad to see him, but was worried that she would be rejected, essentially, because she had been having an affair with Guy. And he was like, essentially, we weren't together. You had no obligation to not fuck anyone.
No, all of that was very clear. I could not remember who... I did not remember I can't remember who any of these motherfuckers are.
Oh, yes. The author of this story is Steve, the waiter from Antonelli's.
Okay, that's right.
So this is the story of him and Christine,
right,
the secretary.
Because it was published as Mark, but that was plagiarism.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It does say that this has an intuition score of 1.
Maybe the bread is a portrait of someone.
This also, the stuff about bankrolled by the king.
Hush money.
Yes. Although not bankrolled enough for them to successfully launch a restaurant, because she ended up going back to being a secretary. But yeah. I don't know what else we might be able to glean from this, though.
Let's not worry about that for now, perhaps. Because we still had... I felt like even very close to the end, we still had a bunch of stuff that had an intuition score of 1. Last time, correct?
Sorry, what?
Let's not get caught up on that for now, because I think even close to the end, there was still a bunch of stuff that had an intuition score of 1.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't know what we should be doing next.
Yeah. Let's we still need to figure out Crocodile's kids. And then
Yes.
we had some inklings about that first affair, right? There was a Beth.
Yes, Beth Knox.
Beth Knox. Hmm.
Who I kind of think I did search in some places, and I did not put that on the have searched list. Whoops. I don't know why she would be in Teen Blast, but you never know.
Teen Blast from the past, where they interview old people about local history. That's what I would do if I was an editor at Teen Blast, because you know what teens love? Local oral history.
Yeah, they can call it When I Was Your Age.
You didn't like Teen Blast from the past?
Well, okay, that's good. I want maybe it can be the tagline is When I Was Your Age ellipsis.
Yeah. That's the subhead.
Yeah.
Juliet says, theory. This is from the Plated Loaf story. Someone with the last name King? Or is that just King Arthur's flower? And Emma says, I think the king is just Guy. Juliet says, oh. Juliet says, can you see if Flora and Yates are in Teen Blast?
Sure.
I think that was a joke.
I know. I'm doing it as a joke.
I see. Yeah. We're at a little bit of an impasse for now, but we will come back next time and reevaluate
Yeah.
what's to be done.
I am wondering if there's anything else.
Ooh. Hell yeah.
Okay, not related to our search, but Antonelli's Attic is a dessert restaurant that serves a variety of dishes meant to evoke a neglected part of the house. This includes their signature dish, Cobweb Cobbler, which uses candy floss atop a blackberry pie. They also have a cheesecake they call the Dust Bowl, which is served in a mason jar and has very finely crushed cookie atop it. Okay.
Well, I think we might have to do for next time.
I'm listening.
an approach that Emma and I sometimes take to the word games when we get stymied, which is come back smarter. We're done for today, but next time we pick it up, we'll come back smarter.
Okay.
I do wish that we had a strong start for next time, but
Yeah. I want to find a Boston newspaper.
do you want to see? Yeah.
Yeah, but so far I don't think
Can we look at my yes, exactly what I was gonna. Hell yeah.
claim to rate
Yes.
things on a scale from wicked awful to wicked wicked. The most recent thing to receive a wicked awful was an antique store called Bee's Things. Apparently the owner, Beatrice.
That's one of the people. That's one of the former secretaries.
That was a secretary,
right?
yes. Beatrice is not very friendly. The most recent establishment to receive a wicked wicked is a comic book store in Cambridge called the Million Year Picnic.
That's a great name.
As far as you can tell, nothing besides fried ice seems to be connected to your search in any way. Even Beatrice?
Wait. Oh.
Unrelated, apparently. But I will read this just for fun. This is supported by... So, Bee's Things appears to be a somewhat awkward attempt at a bee stings pun. This is supported by what can only be described as a swarm of bee-related imagery and puns on their website. Their logo has a pastel yellow and black striped theme with clip art insects all over it. It mentions that all of Boston is buzzing for bees. There's even a listing for a vintage armoire that mentions it has plenty of room for all your yellow jackets in it. At the bottom it states, "Fly on down, honey, and make a deal with Beale."
What?
Nothing here appears to be relevant to your search.
The chat demands that we listen to all your problems again before the end of the stream.
Oh my god. Okay. Hold on.
Attention, Roottrees. This is 5-piece coming at you from the real world. You know, the place you ain't ever lived in.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Root of all your
Man,
problems.
y'all are hypocrites, sitting back in your massive estates, built from the cash that your ancestors gave you, acting like you somehow
Hold on.
deserve it. based on your family's creations.
What?
But look at here, Sonny.
Oh no, but I was being part of the background chorus.
Oh.
And her two dads.
Yeah.
My pappy's cleanse trust should keep you away. Yo, it's disturbing. Catching a sermon from a geezer who's never known hurt, but blurts out these claims that somehow we're sinners because we didn't earn it. When all of your worth it came free with your name, you expect me to treat your lectures on greed as some expert creed from he without blame. How about instead, I turn my other cheeks and spread them. When you give me a kiss, you'll know just where to aim.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil.
Juliet, this song is much worse when looking at the lyrics while listening.
Yeah. Treacle.
So once more with passion, tell this poor tragic orphan your mansions and Porsches are actually horrible.
How I'm better off penniless, grasping for morsels. How wanting my share,
That's actually extortion. With your candy ass name, synonymous with sweets. Oh, you wanna call me classless? I'm gangster from Portland, but I play that game. I came up on the streets. The only streets you reppin' are Park Place and Boardwalk. Hypocrisy, monopoly is toppling. When I knock, have G's.
top off my pockets, please.
Cause the same God that got to steal my mom from me is what he wants, right? For you to live in poverty. And if you're suddenly not eager to unhand that fortune, that's unfortunate. I guess I'm gonna have to take my portion, and I'll do it all legally. Class action, courtroom, decorum. I'm way past your fancy ass dormant.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Bring the choir in.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Yeah.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me
Testify.
take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars.
Wow. Emma says it really is quite bad. And Emily says, okay, but what about when they bring the choir in?
Yeah. What about then?
Juliet says, I'm going to bring up a rap beef I have here for real. This is still better than Capadonna. I saw Capadonna with Run the Jewels and Wu-Tang last year, and I cannot understand how he shares a stage with living legends. Damn. I
know
saw Run the
anything about
Jewels.
Capadonna.
And it was such a bungled audio production that I could not fucking hear them. Like, it was a big auditorium show, and it was like, I don't know what they had done wrong, but they had, instead of like minimizing the room delay from playing in a big auditorium, had like perfectly lined up all the sound waves so they like crashed into each other, and it was just it was like mud for their entire set.
Damn.
Francis says, thank you for playing it. You're so welcome. Don't say we never did anything for you, babies. Well, shall we come back smarter next week?
Come back smarter next week.
Oh, sorry. No, we shan't be coming back smarter next week. Actually, I forgot. Sorry, Emma and I have a concert
Oh my god.
to see Run the Jewels. No.
To see 5Ps?
To see 5Ps. We spent so much money on tickets, but it's going to be worth it. Francis says, I'm going to come back stupider next week.
And Evan said they're coming back dumber.
My God. Can't believe Evan is heckling us indirectly.
Just from having watched the stream. Wow. Should we wrap it up? Because I'm so
Yes.
hot. I need to go stick my head in the
yeah.
freezer.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be back week after next,
Yes.
theoretically. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Oh, Juliet says, have fun at Jupiter to Frankie because he's coming back stupider. Hey!
oh,
Oh!
damn.
Send the choir in.
Okay. Well, we will talk to you in a couple weeks. In the meantime, watch out for Blorals.
Don't even fucking talk to me about treacle.